Anthony Iacovone, CEO of AdTheorent. So AdTheorent is a second generation mobile ad network. And what that means when we say second generation is we look at using data in a way to make informed decisions before we serve impressions to consumers for the advertisers that we support. We use a very differentiated predictive modeling technology, so it allows us to be very precise and very accurate. Yeah, so the panel's name is data, so it's a very broad panel about how advertisers really need to think about and utilize data. So I think there's a lot of learning that needs to be done at the agency level, and I think this panel is going to convey how data can be used, again, to make informed decisions when, working towards meeting a consumer or looking for an audience for your advertiser. I think it means a lot to a lot of people. So the word big data just means that as technology has increased, there's tremendous amount of data being thrown off everywhere, right? So everybody talks about the Internet of Everything. All these devices throw off tons of data. It's really, the word big data is how do you harness it, right? There's so much of it. So technologies like what we purvey and market are there to look at all of these sources of data and make some sense out of it. And that sense is important because if you can look at some of the signals within the noise of big data, you can make a much better, precise decision when doing certain things in advertising. So predictive advertising is different than behavioral targeting in a couple of ways. So predictive advertising uses behavioral data. So an example of how many times you visit a certain site, some of the things that you may do on the internet, but in behavioral targeting, people use that data, specifically the frequency of things that you do, to target you. The difference is predictive uses mathematics around those elements may make some impact on whether or not you will actually convert for an advertiser or not, but they're not the only thing that we look at. So in predictive, we look at things like ambient conditions, weather, believe it or not, sentiment on pages where we serve an ad. We look at even things like socioeconomic conditions. So all of those things are variables that we can model from, and it's a lot more precise than using just straight behavioral targeting or segmentation. Well, I think one of the themes I keep hearing is a separation, like at the agency level, about working together on bringing data together. There's data in so many different silos. Like if you look at like shopper marketing teams, they have tremendous data that the media teams need, and they actually don't talk to each other. So the theme I'm seeing right now across is there's a real silo of where this data lives, and the data is so important for these advertisers to be more effective, and they're just not talking to each other. So I think that if, the theme next year hopefully is people have started to work together, right, to bring that together, and then from there I think they'll be more effective.